Simon Hunt.
The image you see on the screen there, that's a tunnel exit on the corner of William and Palmer Street in Darlinghurst. But if we go back to the 22nd of May 1984, it's the formerly abandoned Gladstone Hotel, part of a 3-block row of rent-free squats inhabited by musicians, artists and queer folk. 10 of us live there. We've drilled a hole through the wall and we get electricity from a friend's apartment next door. Our homemade fuse box powering our 3 floors of paradise. I'm 22 years old. I still am. I practice with my band down the road every day, and sometimes I bring guys back to the Gladstone and sometimes they won't come in. But today, May the 22nd, 1984, I've talked cute surfer guy Matthew, it's not Matthew, I've talked Matthew into coming over because I want to have sex with Matthew to make up for the fact that I can't have sex with Dean from my band because Dean says he has a girlfriend and says he's straight, and he says that thing we did at his house in Stanley Street around the corner was just the one time. It was just the one time. And so, of course, I'm completely infatuated with him. So substitute Matthew and I have 3 bucket bongs and we start getting it on in my bedroom. And I've got the radio on and suddenly the newsreader says homosexuality in New South Wales has just been decriminalised and no longer attracts a 14-year jail term, and we stop fucking immediately. Ironically, that stops us and we think, oh, hey, well, look, Parliament House is just around the corner where everybody is. Maybe we should go there. It's a big event. And we think, no, let's have another bucket bong. And so we go back to bed and Matthew passes out and we're just 2 stone boys having a snooze while the world rushes by outside. But the day, May the 22nd, 1984, has only just begun because I'm actually due to be a contestant on Australia's most popular television show, Channel 10's Perfect Match. Perfect Match is a dating game show. Friends put my name in and I've got to follow through because in 1984 the whole world is a rolling circus performance of heterosexual display and I just want to play the clown and disrupt everything. And it's time to leave to go to Channel 10. So Dean comes into my bedroom to get me, to take me there, and I make sure he sees Matthew so that he'll get jealous and leave his girlfriend. And I can finally tell him that my song lyrics are about him and we can become the world's first gay superstar couple, but that doesn't happen. In the car full of Darlinghurst freaks, I'm immediately offered a massive, badly cut line of speed on a dirty mirror that falls just short of causing a nosebleed, but it sets my jaw travelling in an ever-expanding circle for the next 5 hours. It's like my jaw is sort of gurning out the shape of the Channel 10 logo from the 80s. Anyway, we get to Channel 10. And at the studios, I'm cloistered in a dressing room with 14 other male contestants because they're shooting a week's episode in one go. And some of the guys are sort of like nervously rehearsing their masculine performance by launching a half-hearted plan to break into the girls' dressing room. But then we're brought into a larger space to briefly meet the hosts of Perfect Match, the then famous Greg Evans and Debbie Newsom. So Debbie comes up to me and says, I hear you're a guitarist, Simon. I'm forming a band to do George Benson and Spandau Ballet covers and we need a guitarist. Can I get your number? And sure, I expertly grind through my teeth without cutting my tongue and she writes down my number. But then suddenly, we're on set. There's a wall dividing 3 male contestants from their prospective date, who they will eventually meet at the Heartline in the middle if they answer the question successfully, and then be banished by Greg Evans to a cheap, nasty resort somewhere. So there I am. The producers have asked for a bio, and I've tried to sort of mash together common answers that regular people would give on the show. So Greg announces me as a freelance photographer who's into aerobic water sports and mud wrestling. Jenny is introduced on the other side of the screen. She's a 20-year-old secretary from Maroubra and likes sailing. So I hope that she'll take my water sports experience at face value. Question 1 comes. The Olympics, the 84 Olympics are on soon. What do you deserve a gold medal for? Contestant number 1, I'm pretty good in bed. Audience just sort of groans like someone just did then. Contestant number 2, I can actually run pretty fast. Nice try, mate. I decide I'll take a calculated risk. I say, I deserve a gold medal for my non-sexist attitude towards women. You don't say shit like that in 1984, and the guys in the audience are a bit like, we've got a wild one here. But Jenny's taken the bait. I didn't win question 2, so it's desperate times. I have to win the final question. The speed's taking hold. I have to win. And, question number 3. Question number 3. What's the best free gift a girl's ever given you? Contestant number 2 says, chick I know took me to Mackay and it was really good. I fill my brain with fairy floss and I blurt out, well, I've been given love and affection for free, but as far as I'm concerned, they're worth more than anything else in the whole world. Channel 10 studios erupt. My Darlinghurst freak friends are nearly vomiting at my saccharine answer. But the audience are literally stamping their feet in the cheap bleachers, and Jenny picks me. She picks me, and we're called down to the Heartline as the synthesised music swells from the Warbly cassette player, and I fumble in my pocket for my prop, and the Heartline divider pulls back. Simon Hunt, meet Jenny Nolan. We briefly hug, but then I step back, but I've left a disembodied rubber Halloween hand on her shoulder, and it bounces to the floor, and Jenny screams, "What?" And suddenly it's all a horror film, and I've destroyed our relationship. And it's just a circus, and there's technicians scuttling everywhere. And then Debbie Newsom, they call an ad break, and Debbie Newsom comes over and says, "Oh, Simon, Jenny and I went to school together." And I think I've lost the guitarist's job. But it goes on. I hadn't thought this far ahead. Suddenly we've won a weekend in Noosa Heads together. And now for the first time I'm thinking, oh my God, Jenny didn't ask to be in my circus act, but maybe she'll be into the fun of constructing a false narrative. When we come back, maybe we can say we got kidnapped or something. I really haven't thought ahead. I have zero idea of how the world works outside of my Darlinghurst queer bubble. As the show finishes, I wave the rubber hand behind Greg's head as the credits roll. But then Jenny and I are left standing together for a second as they literally begin to pull the sets away like in a backstage musical, and I'm grinding my jaw, and I just want Jenny to feel okay because we're meant to be going on a holiday together, and I say, I want her to have a good time. I say, hey, don't worry about it, it's okay, I'm gay. She almost physically recoils in disgust. Oh, you're not, are you? You're not? And this is apparently much scarier than the Halloween hand. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I have to go. I'll see you at the airport on Monday, Jenny. And they've given me a cab charge. I retreat to my friends. Dean from my band hugs me and he holds me longer than usual. There's something new in his eyes. And oh my God, is it on? But then the production manager telephones the next day to pass on the terrible news that the videotape did not work properly for my segment of the show. But they will put my name back into the barrel, and who knows, I could even get chosen again sometime. The next week I switch on the TV to see Jenny and the other 2 contestants back there again. They've been flown in from around Australia. I've been replaced by a bodyboarder named Dirk, who is by default into water sports as well. Jenny picks Dirk and they win a trip to Hobart. But I don't care. I'm in my Darlinghurst bubble with Dean, and we build a makeshift second story onto his broken squat out of packing crates. And we cover it with tarpaulins, and we cuddle together. We cuddle together in our little cocoon, and Channel 10 would give me a cab charge to get to the airport. So we take a taxi to the Blue Mountains. And back home, we march with all the squatters against the demolition of all of our homes, even though we know we really can't stop time from moving forward. And we stay blissfully happy in our little cocoon for a whole 2 weeks until it all goes horribly wrong between us because we can't stop time moving on. And Dean's house is replaced by a giant exhaust vent, which is still standing, but probably won't last forever. Thank you.